Hello and welcome to this video where we're going to go through the answers to the questions on page 54 of the Separate Science Booklet. Let's get going. So, question number 1. The human body produces hormones. What is a hormone? So simply for 1 mark, a hormone is a chemical messenger. Question B. Name an organ that produces a hormone. So for this you can just simply say gland, or you could be more specific and name a specific gland that produces hormones. For example, the pituitary gland, the adrenal gland, the ovaries, etc. Part 3. How are hormones transported to their target organs? Hormones are transported in the bloodstream. Question B. Describe how the hormones FSH, which is follicle stimulating hormone, estrogen, and LH, which is luteinizing hormone, are involved in the control of the menstrual cycle. It's a 4-mark question, so we're going to need to make 4 points, but we've only got 3 hormones. So for one of them, we're going to need to make 2 points. So follicle stimulating hormone, the clue is in the name, it stimulates the follicle, causes the maturation of egg cells. So it causes egg cells to become mature. It also stimulates the ovary to produce estrogen, which is the next hormone that we're going to be looking at. Estrogen inhibits production of FSH. What that means is it stops any further FSH being produced, which therefore means that you only get 1 egg cell being matured per cycle. And then finally we've got LH, or luteinizing hormone. And luteinizing hormone causes the release of an egg cell, which we know as ovulation. And we can be confident we've got our 4 marks because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 clear and distinct points. Question number 2. The diagram shows changes in the uterus lining during 28 days of a menstrual cycle. Describe how changes in the lining shown in the diagram adapt it for its function if an egg is fertilised. Well, we're going to look at the diagram and see what we can work out. So firstly, it's obvious that this axis here, the thickness of the uterine lining changes. It starts off relatively thick, it decreases quickly, and then it becomes thicker again. So we can see that overall there's an increase in the thickness of the uterine lining, which will make it easier for the embryo to implant. Also, they've labelled on the blood vessels, which is drawing our attention that there's something there that we want to talk about. We can see here that there are relatively few blood vessels, and by the end there's lots and lots of blood vessels. So there's an increase in the number of blood vessels. And why would that be? Well, the blood is going to transport the nutrients that would be needed for the developing embryo. The 3rd mark's a little bit trickier. We need to use some of our own knowledge. So because this uterus lining is getting thicker, there's also going to be an increased surface area of the uterus lining. And again, that'll make it easier for the zygote to implant. We could also talk about the fact there will be an increased number of glands, which would mean that there will be more hormones produced, which are needed to control the development of that zygote. And hopefully with all of those points, we've gained ourselves 3 marks. So hopefully you did well at those questions and you're confident with those answers. If not, look back, check over your work, and as always, happy sciencing.